Okay, so let's go ahead and get started today. Today what we're doing is we're going to review 3.4, 5.1, and a little bit of 5.2 we started in on. I also want to take a look at this discussion board assignment on the exam wrapper, and we'll finish at 5.2 and do 5.3. So Connect Math, the homework you should have finished over the weekend are Connect Math 3.1, 3.2, and Excel Lab 2, which was due last Thursday. Connect Math loses 1% per day for each problem that's late. So if you only have 2 problems left you didn't finish, just those 2 problems will lose 1% per day until they're done, completed. And don't forget that in 3.2 you're going to need to use a computational model a number of times. Anytime your mean has a decimal in it, anytime your mean is not a whole number, you're going to want to use that. Today you have Connect Math 3.3.3.4 due, and also Excel Lab 3 is due today. And I also bumped back the quiz from Connect Math 3.2 today as well, because I want to show you something that we're doing on this quiz you're working on right now. Thursday, you have Connect Math 5.1, 5.2 due, and Excel Lab 3 due. So there's a lot of things coming up due very quickly. We have an exam coming up in 9 days, so that's a lot of material we're covering in a very short period of time. So hopefully you had a long weekend, right? And hopefully you got a lot done over that weekend. That was the idea. And then Sunday, oops, Excel Lab 3 in there twice, my bad. Sunday you have Connect Math 5.3 due, and then Monday, actually even up till next Tuesday, so that's actually kind of, Excel Lab 3, late but okay, through next Tuesday. And I also want the exam wrapper coming in on Monday as well, so I need to kind of rearrange that a little bit. So from here on out, you're going to want to have a TI-83 or 84 calculator. If you have an Android, you can use WebEmu. And then in Canvas, there's a file you'll need, a ROM file you'll need to download to make that work. If you have an iPhone, there's this app called Calculate 84, which is not quite as good of an interface, but it totally works. It still has all the functionality of the TI-84s, and it's free, so I would recommend that one. All right, so the exam wrapper covers these. The first question and third question we did in class already. I had all of you write down how you prepare for the exam, kind of how much time did you spend studying, was it enough time, which strategies did you use? Right, so that's kind of that first part of that. The second part is what kind of errors did you make on the exam? Did you read it carefully? Did you have problems setting it up? Did you not understand the question in the first place? These sort of things like that. Or did you make like a simple computational error, which that happens a lot. And then the third part is the other part that we covered in class as well. You know what, Steph, why don't you read for me, because I'm tired of talking.
What would you do differently next time? Review your answers in the previous 2 sections and then list specific ways you might prepare differently next time to improve their performance. Attribute the difficulties in section 2 to specific strategies in section 1 that you did or did not employ.
It is in Canvas, so if we go to our Canvas course, and then go to discussions or assignments, either one you can find in either place. Uh-oh. Did I not put it in there? Oh, here it is. Oh, sorry, it's a new upload, my bad. So, exam wrapper 1. To reflect on your learning, right? So you can either upload it as a PDF file, or you can you can actually just type it right into here if you want. Either one. You can either do a text entry box or a file upload. Any questions on that part? And it is due in 2 days. It's due on Thursday. Because all of you got your exams back last Thursday. The idea for having this is the concept of reflecting upon your learning, thinking about how you study. So becoming, one of the things that expert students do is they think about how they prepared, what situations they study best in, what they can do to improve, what they can do to change how they study next time. And part of community college, our job here is to help you, all of you folks, become expert students, right, better students. So thinking about your learning and how you're studying and how you learn best is part of that. All right, so let's take a look at this part here. This kind of comes from your this handout I just gave you folks. Right, so it's this one right here. So here, what we have is, we have some normal distributions, and they're separated by standard deviations, right? So we put down the median, or the mean, and then we've got one standard deviation in each direction, and then another standard deviation. So it's kind of stepping in standard deviations. So my question to ask you folks is, the first one, what's the mean of the top one? Yep, Hendry? This one up here?
Is it 120?
Yes, 120. So the mean is 120, right? That's the mean, it's always in the center. And then, everybody, someone tell me what a standard deviation is. What's one standard deviation? Someone else? Yeah, go ahead.
16.
So someone over here said 20?
Yes.
How'd you find it?
Just do 120, but also from there.
Right, so if this is one standard deviation away, then the distance from here to here, you find that distance, and it's 20, because 120 minus 100 equals 20. And so my sigma is 20. Everybody feeling all right with this part, this concept? Okay, let's take it at the second one then. Everybody talk to your neighbors for 15 seconds. Or actually, stare the second for 15 seconds on your own. Find the mean and find the standard deviation. Okay, talk to your neighbors about 15 seconds and confer with them. Don't talk to me, talk to your neighbors. I should not be able to hear you. Okay, I'm going to randomly pick somebody. Someone who's not talking is more likely who I'll pick. Jeremy, what is my mean? My mean is 15. And Cole, what did you folks get for the standard deviation?
2.5.
2.5. Perfect. Everybody take a look at the third one. 10 seconds on your own. See if you can do it on your own without talking to your neighbors. And then check with your neighbors. All right, Tommy, what did you folks get for the mean?
30, and the standard deviation was 5.
Great. Terrific. Okay, so here are some properties of normal distributions. Right? All of you folks know that, and you should be writing this down on this top part of your handout today if you did not. Right? That about 68% of all data lies within one standard deviation, if it's a normal distribution. Right? So that's one of the properties of normal distributions. And then about 95% of all values fall within 2 standard deviations of the mean. And about 99.7%, right, of all data falls within 3 standard deviations of the mean, if it's normally distributed. So my next question is this: about what percent of the population is in each shaded half? So just this half here, what percent would be in this half here? Maybe I should make it pink instead, so it's easier to see. What percent?
34.
34. How did you find 34?
Because it's just split half.
Yeah, it's 68%. We know the whole part is 68%. And because it's symmetrical, right, one of the things about normal distributions is that they're roughly symmetrical, then each half should be 34%. Good? All right, so everybody, on your own, find what is the percent of population in this shaded, in this part here that I've circled in bright blue. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
47.5.
47.5%. Good. Half of 95%. And then everybody find in this half here. If you're not typing on your calculator, I'll probably call on you. Something like maybe Madison. Maybe. Alex, what'd you get?
49.85.
49.85. He's like, I wasn't typing on the calculator because I did it already. All right, good. Okay, so those are some things that you unfortunately sort of needed to know for your homework that was due last night. Did anybody have trouble with some of the problems about these sections? So what I will do is I will extend the homework that was due last night to tonight, so that you can pick up those 1 or 2 problems that involve this. And we're going to go over some of these things today. So what percent of the population is above 1 standard deviation? So here's 1 standard deviation. What I mean is, what percent is in this section here? So everybody take 10 seconds, see if you can figure it out on your own. I want to know this section here.
Just the blue highlight, right?
Just the blue highlight part, this part right here. Okay, did anybody have an answer? All right, Antonio, what'd you get?
I believe it's 21%.
Okay, he gets 20%. Jake, what'd you get? 16%. 16%? Anybody else have a guess? Okay, so. Oh, I know you did.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I did my math.
You subtracted wrong. Right, but you had the right idea. So what did you do? What's the concept? What do you do?
What I did, I first did I should have done 100 minus 68.
Uh-huh.
And then from there, I would have got that and then divide that by 2.
Yep. So you know that these 2 pieces together is the rest of it. If 68% is on the inside, everything else is on the outside. So, and all of together had darn better equal 1 or 100%. So 68% on the inside means what's on the outside. If I go to someplace and I spend 68 cents and I give them $1, how much change should I get back? 32 cents. So 32% is on the outside. It's symmetric, so half is here and half is there. What's half of 32%? So this whole part here is 32%. Half of it's here. 32% divided by 2 is what? 16%. So half of it's over here, and half is on the other side. What percent is below 1 standard deviation. Also 16%. Yeah, everybody with that? Yeah.
Would it be 99.7% minus 16%? Because that curve would have been 99.7%.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I meant it should be going all the way out.
Oh, okay.
My bad. My bad. It's my fault. I meant above this spot, above 1 standard deviation, so all the way out forever. Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that. So she said, "Are you stopping at 3?" And I meant to go. I should go all the way over. So above 1 standard deviation, so all the way above till forever. Good. So the last question is, what percent is below 1 standard deviation? So what percent is above 1 standard? What percent is above 1 standard deviation? 32 divided by 2.
16.
16%. What percent is below 1 standard deviation?
16.
Let me do it for you. Let me give you guys a fresh copy. Ah. Yes. So Bola says 84. How did you find that?
So, 16 minus 100.
So if this part here is 16%, then below it is all the rest of this. So does everybody understand what we're saying? So either you're, here, let me draw you a separate picture. If this is 16%, this is 1 standard deviation, then what's the rest of it? What's to the left? What's below 1 standard deviation? 84%. Right, so Bola, how'd you find that?
16 minus 100.
Yeah, so 100% and then minus 16%. 84%. All right, so let's take a quick look at your handout. So the handout you folks have, 68% of people will have heights between. So if we look at this little picture you have here, 68% of people will have heights between blank and blank. What is that? What would that be? Yep, 65 to 75. 95% will have heights between what and what? 60 and 80. And 99.7% will have heights between what and what? 55 and 85. Good. Okay, so we will look at the rest of this. Keep this. We'll look at the rest of this when we get to chapter 6. We start on chapter 6, okay? All right. Okay, so back to reviewing chapter 3. So now that should give you enough information for you folks to do the rest of that other 1 or 2 problems in 3.2 and a quiz for 3.2. And those are going to be due tonight. Yes? Notes. So that actually should be notes. So folks, this handout goes in notes. Maybe, you actually at the top, why don't you write chapter 3 and 6 notes? Because it's part of chapter 3 and it's also part of chapter 6. So if you can, file it after, maybe, and maybe circle the 6 because I want you to file at the beginning of chapter 6 stuff. Did you all hear me?
Yes.
Follow this at the beginning of chapter 6. Maybe write beginning of 6 notes or something like that if you want. That might be better. The beginning of 6 notes, I want you to go before chapter 6. In your notes. Okay. So Z value, standard value. What's the Z-score again? It's the number of standard deviations the value is above or below the mean. How do you find a Z-score? Well, you take the value you care about, that you want a Z-score for. You find out how far it is from the mean by subtracting the mean. And then you change that in terms of standard deviations by dividing by a standard deviation. So it's the value minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. in terms of a notation is your z-score is x minus mu divided by sigma. Just turn this off for a second.